A lot of people struggle when they want to learn Python fast, but they cannot find a way to learn it fast. So in this video, I'm going to tell you 5 fastest ways in which you can learn Python. So hello everyone and a very warm welcome to WsCube Tech. My name is Ayushi Jan, and as I said, we will be discussing about 5 very effective tips that will help you learn Python fast. Generally, this happens with a lot of people that when they want to start learning any programming language, they leave it in between and they lose interest. There are many reasons that affect these things, and that only we will be discussing in this video. So first of all, let's talk about the first tip that can help you learn Python fast. The first tip over here is set a goal. Setting a goal is very important. That let's say if you're learning through a course, suppose if you have enrolled in any online course, which is a batch, a live batch or an offline batch. In that case, yes, you have discipline, you have consistency. But what if you're learning from a recorded course or an open source? In that case, you need to set a goal that in certain days you're going to finish this course, or in 5 days you're going to complete this part of module. Or if the course is divided into different parts, you need to make a timetable in which you need to mention that in 2 days or in 3 days you'll be covering this much videos. Let's say if it's Python, then in first day you will be learning all about Python, that what is Python, what are its applications and how to install it. You'll be working in all that. Then on the second day you'll be starting by writing a code basically. So you can start writing code like print statements, start creating variables, understand what are variables, learn the rules of writing variables. On third day, you can learn about how to take input from the users. You can practice those programs and you can take inputs for different situations. Then maybe for day 4, you can learn about operators. Maybe you can divide operators into 2 parts because there are so many operators. So you can learn about operators in 2 days. So this is how you need to break your timetable, that depending on the modules, depending on the videos that you're going to cover. Let's say you want to cover 10 videos in 10 days, 5 days, 2 days, that is up to you. But you need to set a goal. Also, what you need to understand is why you're learning Python. You're learning Python to become a data scientist, data analyst, a machine learning engineer, or if you want to get into web development, whatever the reason it is. Suppose if it is data science, then you should take a more time to learn Python because you need to build strong logic. If you are learning Python for data analytics, you don't need to go in depths of object-oriented programming, or you do not need to learn different types of modules. Just few modules and the basics of Python would be enough. So you need to also understand that why you're learning Python, and based on that you need to set a goal. This was my first tip. The second tip over here would be discipline and consistency. So as I said, that if you have not enrolled for a batch, or if you have not enrolled for any live or offline batch, let's say, so in that case, if you're learning from a paid course, or if you're learning from open source, any website, or let's say from YouTube, you need to be disciplined, you need to be consistent, because most of the reason why people drop in between is because of the consistency, is because of the discipline, because they don't study every day. Or even if not every day, maybe thrice a week or 2 times a week, but you need to be very consistent, very disciplined about that thing. So second tip over here would be being disciplined and consistent, because that is the reason why people drop any programming language in between. My third tip over here would be practice on questions. Practicing on questions that maybe you have done in mathematics in your 10th grade, 9th grade or 8th grade. Or maybe practice any questions that are related to Python. You can go to different websites. For example, Tutorials Freak, Lead Code, HackerRank. There are many different websites on which you can practice questions. So practice questions as much as you can. That will help you to build your logic, your aptitude, and you will actually understand that how the programming is working, how you can apply programming in different problems, and how you can find solution. Later you can use those logics, those aptitude to solve your projects or any problem that you face in future. So even for practicing questions, make a timetable that maybe in one day you'll be solving 10 problems, 20 problems, 30 problems, or within a month you will be solving 100 problems, 200 problems. So you need to fix a timetable also for that. Moving ahead, let's talk about our fourth tip. So fourth tip that I want to give you to learn Python fast is working on the projects. Working on projects is very important. Why it is very important is because it will help you first build your resume. Second, it will raise your interest in learning Python. The reason over here is that when we write a code in Python, we do not see any outputs. Like we see the output, but they are not related to graphics. So that's why it's very important to work on projects. Projects can be around you. Like if you go to a theater, so you can create a theater billing system. If you go to a mall, you can create a supermarket billing system. If you go to a railway station, you can look around and maybe you can create a railway ticket collection system. So there are different things on the basis of which you can build projects if you start from the basics. So when you're learning the basics only, at that time only you can start making your projects. For example, if you're making a calculator using just conditional statements, if you have learned conditional statements, start making a calculator. Then once you have learned loops, maybe add loop into your calculator. Then once you have learned maybe Python libraries like tkinter, you can add that. Or if you're working on a database, you can create a project that is based on database. Later you can learn libraries like NumPy and Pandas and create projects with that. You can scrap data from the web and analyze data with the help of NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, and plot the graphs as well. So there are many projects around you. You can work on projects. Working on projects will also help you build your resume as well. So if there are projects that you have created by yourself, and you can show it that how you have started this project and how now you have reached towards the end of the project by learning all these things and applying all these things in your projects, that would be really good to show in your resume. So work on as many projects as you can. Lastly, I'll talk about the last fifth tip that I want to give to you, that is save your work online. So whatever work you do, it is very important you save it online, because when you're switching laptops or maybe when your laptop gets corrupted, in that case, there might be chances that you lose your files. And suppose if you're working on any project which you were working, maybe let's say when you were learning about lists, you created some project, and now that you have learned database, you want to add more functionality to that project. But now because you have changed the files, you have changed the laptop, or your laptop got corrupted, that file is not there with you anymore, and that's why you drop the idea generally. So I would definitely recommend you to save your work online. Whatever projects you make, whatever small programs, whatever practice even you do, save it all online on GitHub. So guys, these were my 5 tips that can help you effectively learn Python in a very quick way, starting from setting a goal to being disciplined and consistent, and then practicing questions and making projects, and lastly to save your work online. These tips can help you learn Python fast. Not just Python, but if you work on any programming language and you use the same concept to learn it, then it will work on those languages as well. So I hope guys that this video was clear to you, and by the end of this video you have got the idea that how you can learn, and by the end of the video I hope it is clear that how you can fasten the process of your learning. I hope this video was helpful for you, and for more such content, stay tuned guys, and do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you.